Hi, my name is Amod Singhal. I'm an IT consultant who enjoys making complex technical material easy to understand. In this tutorial, I'll briefly review SQL's select statement. Since there are many excellent introductory SQL select tutorials already available, in this tutorial, I'll emphasize some important aspects of SQL select which I believe are not covered well elsewhere. The orders table with data shown below will be used in tutorial examples. The orders table has 4 columns: order ID, customer ID, order date, and order amount. It has 4 customers: Amy, Bob, Kathy, and David. Now, this is not the best example of a relational table, but it'll serve our purpose. Note that the order amount for order ID 3 is null, meaning that no value is specified for that order amount. Next, we'll write some commonly used queries to get a look at the data in this table. Here's a query with which you're most likely familiar. Select star returns all rows and all columns of the orders table named in the from clause. Note that by default, the rows are not sorted. This is because the rows of a relational table are considered to belong to a set or a multi-set if there are duplicates, which by definition is unordered. If the table is large, you would want to limit the number of rows in the result by using top n, where n is the number of rows you want returned. Another common set of queries is to display aggregates. Commonly used aggregates are count, min, max, sum, average, etc. One important rule to remember: all aggregates except count star ignore nulls. Notice the different counts in count star versus count order amount. Computation of average using count order amount and count star is shown here. Handling of nulls is discussed in detail in a separate tutorial. The order by clause is used to sort the output of the select clause. As shown in the example, attributes used in the order by clause need not be output in the select clause. If you want to avoid repeated values, use the distinct clause. The first example lists the 4 distinct user IDs. The second example defines unique values by combining 2 fields: customer ID and order year. Let's consider another example. Let's say we want to list top 2 unique customer IDs based on the sort order. So we try this query, hoping to get this result. But the actual result contains repeated values. To fix the issue, select distinct must be used. If you use select distinct, then order by attributes must be in the select distinct list. Why is that? Well, The reason is that a single result row may represent multiple source rows. Therefore, ambiguity may exist as to which of the multiple year order date values in order by should be used to determine the customer ID sequence that is output by the select distinct clause. For example, should the customer ID sequence in the output be David, Kathy, Amy, then Bob? Or should it be David, Kathy, Bob, and then Amy? Or one of several other possible sequences based on which year value you pick for Amy or Bob. Now let's look at aggregates in a select statement, which also has group by, where, and having clauses. The where clause eliminates row 7, where customer ID is Kathy. The resulting underlying data is grouped by customer ID into 3 groups, one each for Amy, Bob, and David. Next, the group for David is excluded because it fails the condition max order amount less than 100. The final result is as shown. 2 rules to remember. 1. The where clause must not have an aggregate such as count, sum, average, min, or max. The where clause filters based on values of individual non-aggregate fields. And 2, the having clause filters based on A, aggregate values for each group, for example, sum, average, min, max, count, etc., and or B, the group by attribute, which is customer ID in this example. Here's another observation. The distinct clause is redundant when group by is used. Group by ensures that each row returned by the select clause already has a unique combination of all returned attributes. The distinct clause will not remove any rows from the result. One last rule to be aware of. If group by is used, all select list items must be contained in either A, the group by clause, or B, an aggregate function such as sum, min, etc. Why is that? The reason is because an aggregate function returns a single value per group. Finally, let's recap. There are 7 takeaways from this tutorial. 1. Aggregates can be output without a group by. 2. All aggregates except count star ignore null. 3. If group by is used, all select list items must be contained in either A, the group by clause, or B, an aggregate function such as sum, min, etc. 4. The where clause filters individual rows in the underlying data. Where condition may not include an aggregate. The having clause filters groups in the underlying data. It may have aggregates. Order by attributes need not appear in the select clause except if select distinct is specified. And finally, 7. The distinct clause is redundant when group by is used. And that ends this tutorial. I hope you found it useful and look forward to your feedback and comments. Thank you.